Hello, everyone. This is your host, Cyron Smith. Today is Health Day Thursday, but I'm talking about economics. And I wanted to paint this picture for people about what we need and what we hope to do. First and foremost, my vision right now is to be able to combat poverty. We have a lot of people struggling right now economically, and I think we can do something about that. So my vision is to take the 10,000 parcels of vacant property we have or abandoned property in Gary, and put 6,000 outsiders in ownership and 4,000 Gary residents in ownership. And I say that very strategically because outside investment helps, because then you got extra resources from the outside, and 4,000 being local residents. I talked about the ultra affordable housing because what we're talking about doing can't be done by anybody. We're taking our system of having 2,000 people come to Gary for 4 months for training and networking and having to have a place for them to stay. So the way we're going to do this, and you may write this down, but the way we're going to do this, we're going to take investors with $1,000 to invest, put 10 of them together, and call that a track. That track one, track two, track whatever will be $10,000 in value, and we're going to go out and we're going to buy property. There's a piece of property now for just $4,000. We have people who will be attending boot camp who have some money, and we're going to have that person buy this property. We're going to purchase it for $4,000. We're going to add $2,000 in profit, so the place will be worth $6,000 to our person that's attending boot camp. And that ultra affordable housing is a rent to own process where this person will pay $100 for 60 months. That's $6,000. Our investors get their money back, plus they get a $200 profit from each investor on just $1,000 contributed. Plus they got their capital to use to the next project. But just think about this. So a person now will pay $100 rent, and after 5 months, 5 years, they own it. So that's the mindset that we're going to take throughout all of Gary. We're in 20 other cities. So this model, Chicago, Gary first, and then we're going to head to St. Louis and Detroit and do the same thing. But what we're really doing is we're not allowing people who are savvy in real estate to come in and take over. These tracks of investors are people who care about uplifting our community. And so it's people who have a conscience and not just about profits. And I know quite a few people, so these are the people who I'm going to bring in as investors, and we're going to go and do this strategically throughout Gary, Indiana. Chicago will be right after that. The boot camp is the key because we're going to have people here from all over in Gary learning and networking. And so it's going to be important to have a place for them to room and board. And since we're doing this 4 times a month, meaning 3 times a year, there'll be different people moving in and out. That's going to allow us to build. The price tag on this whole project, when I calculated all the properties, is about $78 million. So it's quite a bit of money. When you figure in the construction, we're talking about $50 million in construction money. So all of our carpenters, bricklayers, and plumbers throughout Gary and then Northwest Indiana and Chicago, $50 million to rebuild a housing in Gary. $78 million in total property that we're going to acquire. And the profits on that will be at least half of that $78 million. So you're talking over $39 million in profit. And then on top of that, the city of Gary will get $9 million a year in tax revenue. So this vacant property that we're not collecting taxes on now will be netting the city $9 million, which is pretty significant on a $52 million a year budget. $9 million coming from what we're doing. And all it is helping people, is loving people, getting people to become investors who weren't thinking about investing, making affordable housing. The ultra affordable housing is awesome. And we're also going to have transferable housing. The last piece, 16 and 19-year-olds, we're going to put them in a pipeline so that they can become owners as well. And most 16, 19-year-olds aren't thinking about it. Well, we're going to start them thinking about it. And the fact that we're in 20 other cities, I believe that's going to make them be a little bit more enticed that now they can have ownership and they can transfer this house to St. Louis or Detroit because we're doing the same thing with tracks of investors there. Big vision. I'm leaving my job here downtown Chicago so that I can do this full time, because it's time for us to stop the struggle. It's time to transfer this wealth that's out here to the hands of people who could benefit and who love other people who's going to share it. So call me 219-588-1779 if you want more information. 219-588-1779. Cy Smith. Thank you.